Boxing King Media in association with BOXER. Legendary journalist Mr. Colin Hart, still flying the flag, still turning up at the press conferences. You still got the same hunger that you had all them years ago?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I've been doing it for 50 odd years. I can't break a habit of a lifetime.
Fair play to you, sir, fair play. A huge fight this Saturday night. Beterbiev, undefeated knockout artist against Anthony Yarde. 18 people have tried, they've all failed. Do you think Anthony Yarde has a chance to be the guy to break his own?
I learned a long time ago, however strong the favourite is, the opponent has always got a chance. And Yarde has got the proverbial puncher's chance against an elite fighter. We know what he's up against, he knows what he's up against, but he's a very confident young man, confidence in his own ability, not necessarily to knock Beterbiev out, but to outbox him. Obviously, on paper, he's got little or no chance, and quite honestly, I don't expect him to beat Beterbiev. But he's 38, he may be having trouble at this stage of his life making weight. Anything can happen in the ring. We saw that a week ago with Smith and Eubank Jr. Eubank was a strong favourite, and he ended up getting knocked out. So there's no such thing in any sport as a certainty, and certainly not in boxing.
With regards to Artur's record, obviously he's 38 now, so I think a lot of people have mentioned the age could potentially catch up with him. But with that, he's got a lot of experience as well, and he's been there for all the top contenders, and obviously his resume on paper is incredible. Obviously on paper, Anthony's knockout of Lyndon Arthur stands out because nobody expected that.
Yeah, but I mean, Beterbiev is a special fighter. Over 300 amateur fights, and he's a very seasoned pro. Although he's only had 18 fights as a professional, his experience as an amateur, 300 amateur fights at the top level is got to be worth at least 80, 90 pro fights. And so, his experience is second to none, and he's confident, obviously, being an unbeaten pro.
And with regards to the undercard, Moses Itauma has been given a lot of publicity and a lot of limelight, and the hype is that he's going to try and break Mike Tyson's record. You know boxing inside out. From what you've seen of him and the current heavyweight picture, can he do it?
I met Moses for the first time today, and I said to him, what you've said about wanting to become the youngest heavyweight champion in the world makes good headlines, and I don't begrudge you for saying it. I said, take a tip from me. Patience is the essence. I said, Frank Bruno, Dubois, Anthony Joshua all had the same idea. But you've got to be patient in any sport, particularly boxing. Time is on his side. He's not had any senior amateur experience. He's an incredible junior record, but he's only 18, just 18. He's got all the time in the world. I said to him, take your time, and if you're good enough, it will come.
That's very, very good advice from a wise head. I want to speak to you about a couple of other topics, Colin. Starting off with Tommy Fury, Jake Paul. Are you an expert on that at all?
I do not even recognise that kind of boxing, I'm afraid. I've never seen it, don't want to see it. To me, it's pure show business, nothing to do with the sport of boxing.
The reason I wanted to bring it up is because the rumours are it's going to be in Saudi Arabia on the 25th of Feb. Do you think that could potentially scrap up plans for Tyson Fury to fight Usyk in Saudi? Because if they're going to pump all the money into the Jake Paul-Tommy Fury fight, maybe they might be reluctant to stage two big events before Ramadan.
Well, there is that possibility, but I think Fury and Usyk is so big and makes so much money that it will happen. Where it happens, that's another matter. It could be in Saudi, could be in Abu Dhabi, and it could be at Wembley Stadium. 94,000 people would be there. They'd sell out overnight, and therefore it will go where the most money is.
100%. And the last topic I want to speak to you about is the Conor Benn situation. I don't know if you read, as of from yesterday, it was reported that the UKAD and British Boxing Board have stated that there's been no cooperation from Conor Benn's team with regards to, giving his version of events or giving them this 270-page document. Are you aware of any situation like this in boxing history prior, before you answer that?
Well, I don't think there's been any boxer produced a 300-page document expressing their innocence, having been allegedly caught taking drugs. I'm surprised at the WBC, who say that pending the investigation, Ben can still fight on. I can't understand that, because if the investigation finds him guilty, you can't have a man who is guilty of drug taking being allowed to fight. I mean, I'm sure they're confident of proving his innocence, but until that happens, he should stay out the ring.
The suggestion is, because it's a bit strange, because Conor's been very confident in saying that his innocence has been proven and science has proven that, but the WBC haven't made any ruling. But with regards to him not cooperating with UKAD and the British Boxing Board, could that be because he's not under license anymore, so technically he's not obliged to cooperate with them? Could that be the answer to that?
I would think that Ben is acting on legal advice, and he's got a big legal team around him at the moment, hoping to prove his innocence, and he will do what the lawyers tell him to do.
And the last question on Mr. Frank Warren. A lot of people were writing him off a couple of years ago, saying that, saying negative stuff about the shows, etc. But last year, a lot of boxing experts are saying Frank Warren is back on top again, especially with all the stadium shows. Do you feel he's back on top, and how long do you think he can continue this form for?
Frank Warren has been around boxing now for more than 40 years. He's been ridden off many, many times. He is now, in my opinion, the main man. When you think he's promoting Tyson Fury and Joe Joyce, Danny Dubois, and if Yarde should beat Beterbiev, he'll have a world heavyweight champion with 3 titles. Certainly he is not finished as a top promoter by any means.
Mr. Colin Hart, as always, I appreciate your time, respect, and thank you very much.
My pleasure.